She was a beautiful actress that started her career early and finished early, grew up on the silver screen with the world falling in love with her performances, and even becoming an icon to many youths at the time. Working with icons and even stars that were able to become famous at her time of fame in Hollywood. Her death remains a mystery, and even people today are still trying to figure out what happened to her. She starred in dramas, westerns, and even nominated 3 times for the Academy Award. This is the beautiful Natalie Wood, and this is her beautiful and her basic biography. Early life. Natalie Wood was born on the 20th of July 1938 in San Francisco, USA. Born to parents who came from Russia, and she would become first in her family to be born in the United States just before World War II. Whilst growing up during World War II, she went to school and even pursued a career as a child actress at the same time. Yet she would be pursuing the same career as a child actress on stage as well as working in Hollywood later. Whilst growing up, she would be working in Los Angeles at the time of her studies, working in Hollywood and even being working with well-known actors and actresses later on. She would have to change her name from Natalia Zakarenko to Natalie Wood, basically to get more roles and more acting positions. Her family wanted her to become a actress at a young age and become an actress full time while studying. So they all moved to Los Angeles, California, and would spend time getting their daughter to work on various studios and various films as a child. She would also later grow up on the silver screen, as this would happen once as she left education, and even was scouted for various production companies all around America, who were able to find young people to take over for the older actors and actresses based on a new light-hearted and teen-oriented movies that were being released during the 1940s and even in the 1950s. Acting career. She was able to be signed up to various movies as and make it as a child actor that would have to be a benchmark to other children who went to become actors and actresses during the time of World War II. Her first movie would be Tomorrow is Forever in 1943, as the movie was actually based on World War One and having her playing as a daughter of a plastic surgeon who would help Orson Welles' character in that film. Due to the success of the movie and even being signed a contract with RKO Pictures, Natalie Wood had played in more movies over the 1940s, which was her big breakout decade. She continued to make hit movies and even star in the original Miracle on 34th Street in 1947 with fellow actress Maureen O'Hara. She grew up on the silver screen after World War II as well. She managed to still carry on with working on her studies and even graduating from high school. This meant going back to acting to make ends meet, and which actually did help her out to become a star in as a comeback star, mainly for a new era of young audiences and even teenagers of the 1950s who loved the living fast and dying young. This was a great year or great decade for the young Natalie Wood, as she would gain more momentum for her acting credits during the time of being a lead female icon or lead female actress. Starring with James Dean in the movie Rebel Without a Cause in 1955, which had made her be nominated as Best Supporting Actress for the Academy Award. Whilst being in films, she had time to make herself known on television in the 1950s. These television shows would be family related oriented genre dramas that were having her as guest starring in various episodes. Next, she would be in another major movie, starring alongside with John Wayne in the movie The Searchers in 1956. Growing up in Hollywood. Natalie Wood was now a teen sensation and growing up on the silver screen from a child to now a fully grown adult. As this was in the 1960s, her acting style changed as she saw other actresses growing up on the silver screen and changing to adapt for new hard hitting dramas that people were now interested in, and even had a chance to work with well known actors and actresses at the time. The movie that showed that she was not a young and naive actress was the movie called Splendor, Splendor in the Grass in 1961, where she was able to star with newcoming actor Warren Beatty, then having a chance to show her method acting in other movie roles in the same year. Later on in the same year, she was able to star in the movie West Side Story, where she was able to play the part of Maria. This movie was an adaptation of Romeo and Juliet's play by William Shakespeare. But the rest of the 1960s would have the great Natalie Wood continuing her fame as a young female lead, and sometimes supporting actress based on movies that she worked on. This would even help her win some awards based on her acting skills and movies that she was only being nominated for Academy Awards. However, Natalie Wood would be playing in movies that were based on real life people and continuing to act in dramas for all audiences around the world, even working with known stars to newcoming actors and actresses in the same decade. Personal life and final years. Natalie Wood would be married at least 3 times, as she would be married to legendary actor Robert Wagner from 1957 to 1962. Then they would remarry again in 1972. She was also married to Richard Gregson and had a daughter with him before remarrying Robert Wagner. She had 3 children throughout her relationships. She would spend time personally staying away from Hollywood whilst being a mother and sometimes acting based on the roles that she was given whilst spending time with her family. She managed to lose some great roles based on her personal life, and even losing towards new actresses that were also becoming icons at the time. This was being throughout the 1970s as well as the 1960s. Yet she was able to star in movies less than often, and even appear on television during the 1950s to the 1980s. She would appear in The Candidate in 1972 with Robert Redford, and then in the movie Meteor in 1979 with Sean Connery. On television, she was able to was able to go to the UK and around the world to star in movies with various production companies outside the United States. However, her final film appearance was Brainstorm in 1983, 2 years after her death, and her final television performance was The Memory of Eva Riker in 1980, just 2 years, or just a year before her death. Death and legacy. Sadly, the beautiful Natalie Wood passed away at the age of 43 years old, and her death was caused by drowning off the coast of Catalina Island on the 29th of November 1981. Her death remains a mystery, as she was with her former husband Robert Wagner and a friend, fellow actor Christopher Walken, where they were all on the same boat, but her death or her accident happened due to bad conditions of the sea whilst traveling on a fateful night or an evening. Natalie Wood's legacy lives on still with her daughter, and who was also an actress, but not as famous as her mother, and her family being able to appear on television and even movies based on her life. Natalie Wood also would have other films and television series based on what happened to her and even her early years and even her career in Hollywood. She was honored after her death, and even her movies would be made about her after her death by being a mystery, and even till today, people are still trying to find out if she was murdered or if it was just an accident. She was a beautiful actress that was taken too soon and would be remembered for being one of the greatest actresses of old Hollywood and even classic Hollywood. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe if you haven't done so. My name is Suki Cookie, and thank you for watching, and please watch my other videos as well.